Judge, I will also say that we have taken proffers from fellow gang members from Mr. Williams. Some are on this indictment, some are not. They have stated uniformly that Mr. Williams is dangerous. They are afraid of him, that if they cross him, he will kill them and their family. And they were very clear about that.
All right, so we do got a breaking story. This just actually happened like an hour or so ago or something. It says, judge declares young thug a potential danger to the community, denies request for bond. So this is honestly one of the biggest stories of recent times. This is Young Thug, one of the biggest artists of our time, one of the most like influential and generational changing artists. I don't like Young Thug. But, you know, some stuff of his, you know, he has that song with J. Cole that I think is really good. I liked a lot that Usher song that he had with him. But, you know, he is huge. So forget my personal opinion. This guy is massive. So I don't know if we've really seen something like this, these kinds of charges come to somebody that massive. I mean, there's obviously like the 6ix9ine case, but 6ix9ine was kind of big off of just like the hype stuff. Honestly, I didn't really feel like he was really big as an artist, whereas Young Thug is a ginormous generation pushing artist. Like that's who he is. So it's crazy. I was actually going to make a breakdown video on what's going on with the Georgia Bureau investigation, because these are RICO charges, but they're coming from the state. They're on the state level. They're not federal RICO charges. So I wanted to give a breakdown because what's happening is the Atlanta rap scene has become very popular, right, with the Migos and all them. And so Atlanta, you know, the Georgia GBI is basically, you know, the GBI is really cracking down on this. So he was begging to get, he was begging really hard to be able to get bond. If you don't know what bond is, basically what you do is when you're arrested and put into jail, jail is where you're held before your sentencing. Prison is where you go after you're sentenced. Bond is you can pay some money to get out while you're awaiting your trial. That's what it is. So if you have the money, usually you can get off a bond. But sometimes in cases where it's so extreme, you are not even allowed to pay for bond because you're viewed as this huge flight risk. Maybe you'll leave the jurisdiction. So if it's city charges, if it's state charges, and they find that you have a high likelihood of fleeing the jurisdiction, they won't allow you. Or if you've committed some crazy crime, you know, one of like the craziest ones, they won't let you out. They won't even give you an option for money wise. It says the post judge declares Young Thug a potential danger to the community, denies request for bond. Young Thug was denied bond by a Fulton County, Georgia judge on Thursday, June 2nd. After an hours-long hearing, the rapper, who was arrested last month on gang activity and racketeering charges, was deemed a potential danger to the Atlanta community and case witnesses. And so this appears to be the main thrust of why he was actually denied bail, is that the prosecutor actually convinced the judge that he's got a bunch of witnesses who are telling on, who are talking to them about Young Thug's actions, and he's saying that if you let him out, he can retaliate against them. And that's a really huge one, because then what that does is that actually damages the case itself, and it brings into question the quality of the case itself, because now you have information that can be presented to the court to prove guilt not being presented because of threats of violence. So those are a very serious thing that the court takes. It's probably the most serious thing you can take. It says that, you know, his attorney says that he was willing to wear an ankle monitor, undergo regular drug tests, and surrender his cell phone and passport. It says MGK and 300 Entertainment co-founder Kevin Liles came in to talk about his great character. I love how they do like these character judgments. Like, dude, there's like a lot of evidence on you, like RICO charges. And if you don't know what RICO is, RICO stands for the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. It was passed around the mafia time, and is used to really bring that down. So it makes it like, you know, if you give someone, you know, one of your criminal organization people, your gang members, you give them a car that's then used to go kill somebody, like, you're also liable for that crime. But basically, what the best way I can describe to you what RICO is, it's like taking there's like a set of charges, arson, robbery, blah, 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 and it basically puts them on steroids. So it's like if they can connect you to those crimes being part of a criminal organization, I think it takes like 2 charges, then your charges are put on steroids, basically. It's like way worse of a punishment than if you were just not part of a RICO, but just getting those indictments independently. So that's essentially what it is. And no, Gunna is not being charged because he's bumping YSL and repping YSL in a music video. He had actual charges of, intent to distribute of drugs and stuff. That's not true. I don't know where people got that idea from. But yeah, so he has been dropped, and it is because of a video. Not a video. It's because the judge was convinced by the prosecutor that young Thug has the ability or high likelihood or high propensity to actually harm or threaten the witnesses, which then brings into question the entire trial itself. So big news, he's going to be stuck in prison and he can't get out. This is huge. Absolutely massive artist not being able to get out, him and Sergio Kitchens, Gunna himself. So definitely some huge news here.